So, I heard you want to sling some magical might, but you don't got the time to look through the literally hundreds upon hundreds of spells in the Primal spell list in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Well, good news for you, druids, sorcerer supremes, and witches out there. I got you. I'm Lord Generic, and we're going to look through rank by rank a comprehensive list of practical primal spells that you can use in your games. Now, remember, when we say practical, these might not be the best spells for your specific situation, but we're going to consider what kind of spells should you be looking for and really narrow down, I don't know, 10, 20 options that you need to consider, and everything else you don't have to worry about unless it's a very specific and unique situation. With that said, what are primal spells? What are primal spells good at? Well, there are four types of spells in Pathfinder. We have Arcane, which is your classic wizard. We have Divine for healing and buffs, and Occult for debuffs and tricks. Primal, however, that's our blunt hammer of a spell list. The Primal spell list is big heals, big damage, big control. Buffs, debuffs, illusions, and tricks. Primal doesn't really do that. There's a few options, they exist, but the specialty, the reason you pick Primal is because you want big, powerful effects and, frankly, an easy to use package with big booms and big heals. So, let's get to it. Now, the Primal spell list, as I resize myself a little more effectively, the Primal spell list does indeed, like I said, specialize in elemental magic, healing, and crowd control. Not from debuffs, but creating difficult terrain, summoning walls, physically splitting up groups of enemies. So come here for fireballs, lightning bolts, wall of stone, and heal spells. A good amount of force movement and some debuffs on your attacks. Primal is really putting out a lot of numbers. Particular things it gives you is wall spells, which are super, super good. Wall of Stone at rank 5. We'll get into that, don't you worry. And we bring the heal spell. This is notable because heal is, for the most part, the best healing spell in the game. The Primal spell list, your druids and your primal sorcerers are as good at healing as a cleric. You might not have as many heal spells, but you're just as strong. But it's not without downsides. As we mentioned, no illusions, you're not good at targeting will saves, and you don't have many buffs. It's just not the strength of the list. If you want to make your fighter super, super strong, Primal is like okay at best. It's really there for casters and spell users who want to do the big damage themselves. And the casters who can use Primal, it's actually a fairly limited list. Your main caster is a druid, the good old druid. You got high durability, medium armor, you have shield block to start. Druids are very, very durable, probably one of the most durable casters in the game. And they can pick any primal list every morning as a prepared caster. Now remember, that means you only get to cast any given spell you prepare one time. Think of it like taking a bag of grenades into the battlefield. Once you throw a given grenade, you're out. That's the only one you brought. So, yeah, not the best for spell spammers. If you love using the same spell over and over, try consider a sorcerer. Sorcerer can pick primal spells depending on the bloodline they start with, and that's your spontaneous caster here. They're going to pick a spell and you can keep slamming it out time and time again in a given day. This is a great pick if you just want to do big number, big explosion, big heals. Primal Sorcerer is great. And for the last ones, we do have witches who can prepare to be primal. I'm going to be honest, unless you have a specific build in mind, I would recommend Druid over a primal witch. And Animist, who is, they're just kind of a weird class. They're kind of weird. They're a mix of divine and primal at the same time. But what matters here is you only get one primal spell from a limited list every day per spell rank. You get a couple. We got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get into it. I'm going to assume you understand the basics of using a spell in Pathfinder, so that's not in the scope of these videos. We're just talking about the spells themselves. Let's get into cantrips, though. Cantrips, your spammable spells at low levels. I'm talking levels like 1 through 4. You're going to be using these all the time as your main damage because your spells are kind of not that high damage and you don't have very many. So expect to be using Electric Arc and Frostbite all the time. These are your great saving throw cantrips, your reflex and your fortitude save cantrips. Electric Arc can hit 2 targets. Frostbite can target fortitude. Mix and match based. If you're fighting a small, fast flying enemy, hit them with Frostbite. If you're fighting 2 dudes in close range, hit them with Electric Arc. And if you want to get that final element damage, that fire damage, and target armor class, we can bring ignition as well. That's expensive, though. You only get 5 cantrips by default, so you want to spend 3 of them on damage? What else do you want, though? You want Glass Shield. Glass Shield is a variant of the shield spell. It's basically the same. You can spend 1 action to get +1 AC, and you can shield block with it to block some damage. It blocks less damage than the shield spell, but it does a little bit of damage to the enemy. And you don't get shield, so we bring this. Though, remember, if you're a druid, you could just bring a real shield, and that'll be way stronger than the shield spell. Just saying. And guidance. Remember how I said we don't have a lot of buffs in the Primal list? The guidance is a great filler for that. It's a 1 action +1 buff to anything the person does next round. Now, you can only guidance as given person once an hour, but how long are your fights actually lasting, practically speaking? This is good when you just don't know what to do with that 3rd action. And a shout out for Deep Breath. This is an interesting utility spell. It allows you to hold your breath for like an hour. And at rank 2 and above, when you speak, aka when you cast a spell, it only uses 10 minutes of your breath. This is very important. This is vital because normally when you as a spellcaster get dunked underwater, if you try to cast any spell, you have to speak, which means you start to drown because you're not holding your breath and you're basically dead. Just straight up. This can really save you. So if you do a lot of water combat, or even there's a risk of going underwater, you're going to want this one. Otherwise, maybe take Prestidigitation. It's a fun, cute role-playing cantrip. And hey, there's more to this game than combat. Prestidigitation is for all the little magic tricks. Cooking, cleaning, flavoring your food, lifting up small things, changing the color of a handkerchief. It's a very much role-playing focus, but hey, that's cute and fun. Let's get into proper spells, huh? Rank 1. Things to note. At rank 1, your spells are frankly a little weak still. They're valuable. This is all you got. And enemies are weak enough. You can take them out with a single damage spell, but there's not much use of using most rank 1 damage spells over a cantrip. If you just swing with a weapon or launch a stone from a sling alongside a damage cantrip, you can often be competitive with these rank 1 spells. So we do have a spell that is pure value. You're looking at it. You see all these stars of value. They're worth it. Heal, baby. This is the best healing in the game, basically. 1 action for a weak heal, 2 actions for a big heal to 1 person. That's the version you'll use most of the time. And when you're fighting the undead, pop a 3 action heal. You'll burst out a small amount of healing to all of your friends and damage those pesky zombies or skeletons. Really, really good. And most importantly, this spell scales remarkably well. Every single rank you can slap in higher levels versions of heal and you will be happy. I won't mention it most of the time because we got other things to cover, but heal is so good. And another spell that scales well at high ranks, Dehydrate. Dehydrate. You're looking at this as rank 1 and you say generic doesn't seem that good. I know. It's a fortitude save for a little bit of persistent fire damage. That's a damage over time effect, and enfeebled 1. Not like incredible. However, consider how good it is at rank 3 and rank 5. The AoE becomes bigger and the damage shoots through the roof. Keep an eye on this one. It's not your rank 1 use, but it is good. If you like funny spells, we do have Horizon Thunder Sphere. This is very spell slot efficient. It's one of the few 2-turn spells. That's right. This thing has a cast time, baby. You can cast this for 2 or 3 actions to make an attack roll. That's the practical approach. But we're not here for practical. You're bringing this to summon the Horizon Thunder Sphere, targeting an enemy, and across 2 turns, that's 6 actions, you're firing off one of the most high damage to spell slot efficient spells in the game. Super, super high damage, wicked cool, not practical. I mean, I gotta point it out because I know some of you want to bet everything. If you're going to throw this bad boy, remember to ask your friends to aid your attack. Maybe if another caster can toss a guidance on you before your second turn comes across, get every plus you can, and get ready to burn a hero point to reroll that attack roll. We don't want this thing to miss now, do we? Granted, if we want something practical, let's just take Thunderstrike. Thunderstrike is what's good. This spell is super good, scales well as well. Good damage, hits a single target. You just look at a dude, blow him up with a lightning bolt. Super easy. And it applies Clumsy 1 on targets wearing metal armor if they fail their save. Hey, that's great. That's super nice. Extra debuffs on top of good damage. At rank 1, this is an all-star. Last, if you're really trying to stretch out spell slots for some reason, consider Camel Spit. Camel Spit is very spell slot efficient. It's an armor class targeting attack. You spit some acid at an enemy, and if it hits them, they become dazzled and take some damage. But what matters is every round you can sustain this and spit another time. So that's 3 attacks over 3 rounds. Like I said, spell slot efficient, not burst damage efficient. If that's what you want, if you need to use a single spell slot and you can just cast Camel Spit the first turn. Second turn, you hit him with a cantrip like Electric Arc or Frostbite, and then sustain Camel Spit to spit again. Though, keep in mind, a lot of this utility can be replaced by just carrying a sling and just throwing a rock from that. And I know I said there aren't very good buffs in the Primal list, but like, there's still a couple that are really good. And they mostly come early. They come early. Notably, Anthaul and Tailwind are huge personal buffs. These only work on yourself. But Anthaul is an amazing wand spell. When you hit like level 7 and you can just buy level 1 wands and their cost doesn't matter because the cost of a level 1 wand, a rank 1 wand, is so cheap that you can just pick these suckers up for free, practically speaking. That's when you grab Anthaul. It gives you a little more carry weight across 8 hours. Hey, what's not to love? And Tailwind, this is the God tier move speed buff. At rank 1, it's not that good. It's 1 hour of plus 10 movement. Not that great. But at rank 2, you get that plus 10 move speed for 8 hours. That's effectively the whole adventuring day. Super good. Keeps you very mobile, and a caster that can get away from enemies or get into their optimal range is a spellcaster who wins fights. The moment you can afford a rank 2 Wand of Tailwind, pick this puppy up. As for the other buffs, Interposing Earth is a great reaction, effectively allowing you to raise a shield to an incoming attack. Gives you cover, that's +2 to armor class and reflex, and if you get hit anyways, it absorbs 2 points of damage. Is that enough to matter? I mean, maybe. Maybe. You're not going to say no. However, with all that said, Let's address Runic Weapon. You see this in every spell list video, every spell list guide. This is the strongest rank 1 spell at level 1 and 2. It gives a buddy of yours, I guess you can cast it on yourself, but I recommend a martial buddy. That's your fighter, your barbarian, your rogue, your ranger, any warrior type. Cast this on it and it will double the damage dice they do. Instead of 1d8, they throw 2 8-sided dice. Or if they have a great sword, 2 12-sided dice. Huge damage. And remember, they roll the damage, but really that's your damage at the end of the day. And they get a +1 to hit. Oh, why not? That's more crit chance and hit chance. You'll love it. This is a spell that is so unbeatably good at rank 1 and 2. You cast this on your warrior, they're going to just start one-shotting enemies. 1 hit, 1 kill for the most part, especially any strength character. But once your friends pick up +1 weapons and at rank, and at level 4, once they pick up striking weapons, you get rid of Runic Weapon, you never take it again. It has fallen off, it no longer has a value. You don't take it. Go take something else. And something else you could take is Shattering Gem, which is a cute little buff. It's a nice little safety buff. You create a floating gem around a buddy, and whenever an enemy hits that guy, there is a 50% chance the gem will intercept the attack, absorb 5 points of damage, and explode to do a little bit of damage on the enemy. Is it huge? No, but I mean, hey, a little more health and a little more damage, it's as good as you're going to get, practically speaking. And while rank 1 buffs are stellar, the debuffs are no slouch. You have Fear. This is going to be one of your long-term picks simply because it's a will save and you get so few of those in the Primal list. It's only okay at rank 1. It's at rank 3, when you upcast it to rank 3, that Fear is really good because then it can target a bunch of enemies, not just one. If you want to target just one, I'd recommend going with Goblin Pox instead. This is a risky debuff because of touch range. You have to be right next to an enemy, and therefore it pairs well with the Reach spell shape feat, also known as a meta magic feat, to extend its range. But if you're a druid, you're tanky enough to give Goblin Pox a shot anyway. This is going to apply Sickened 1 even on the successful save, and Sickened is a incredible debuff because it's a -1 to everything, effectively -1 level to the enemy until they spend an action and pass a Fortitude save to reduce the debuff. So that's at least 1 action gone or a permanent debuff. Not bad at rank 1. If we have specific teams, Leaden Steps is very worth bringing. This is a fun, sustained Fortitude save. Remember, you have to sustain it every round. But what it does is it encumbers the enemies. So it reduces their defensive stats, and it gives them a weakness to electricity. This is interesting, right? It's like 2 points of weakness, not huge, but you're low level. 2 points can be a big difference. And if you have an alchemist on the team throwing electric bombs, or a gunslinger making electric bullets, or you and your friendly caster partner who can both cast electric arc, you can stack a lot of lightning damage and get a huge benefit out of Leaden Steps. I wouldn't take this on any given party. It's not my general pick, but if you have a team that throws a lot of lightning damage, this is going to be an all-star spell. And last, we do have the reaction Lose the Path. It's notable because it is a will save, that thing you have so little of. When an enemy tries to move, you can cast this and there's a chance of reducing their movement, or if you're really lucky, canceling their movement outright. Most of the time, you want to time this to force them to spend a second action to move and approach their target instead of 1. That eats an enemy action for your reaction. Super, super good. Starting to be a little overwhelmed? Don't worry, when you look at the full spell list, it's even worse. But our control spells are also banger at rank 1. There are just so many good rank 1 primal spells, man. I'm telling you, it's incredible. But we have some very evergreen control spells. Gust of Wind is always good. This is a line fortitude save that knocks people prone if they fail. Nice debuff, spends an action for them to stand up, and you can't approach the Gust of Wind. You cannot walk up the gust because it remains, right? You're shooting wind, and it's so strong they can't walk through it to approach you. Now, what this means is if you shoot it down a doorway or a narrow 5-foot hallway, or even a 10-foot hallway, you have locked out your enemy movement. They can't just step to the side and get past it. It's a huge, huge problem. If you're ever dungeoning or in tight environments, Gust of Wind is going to be incredible. Pick up some scrolls of it, 100%. And if we want a funny spell, we do have 500 Toads. It is a rare spell, but like, come on. Is your game master not going to let you cast 500 Toads? It's literally Rain of Toads. It's only a 1 round of difficult terrain, which is like not amazing, but it does trigger traps. So once again, if you're in a dungeon environment with deadly traps, a scroll of 500 Toads might be pretty useful. And sometimes you just got to drop a bunch of toads on someone to prove a point. I'm just saying. Last, we have the classic Grease. Grease is such a good spell. You pick 4 tiles. Now, they have to be contiguous. What that means is they have to touch each other. But you have to pick 4 tiles on the ground. Everyone on there makes a reflex or acrobatic save or gets knocked prone. But what matters is you have greased the ground. It's slippery now. So when your opponents try to get off of it, have your buddies with athletics, your strong, beefy front line, shove them back onto the grease, or use force movement spells to force them back onto the grease. It's slippery ground. Just keep forcing them back in. You're going to see this often with the Primal list. Primal spells are very good at creating what I would call spicy ground. Or if you ever have played MMOs, the stand in the fire tactic, you create dangerous areas of ground and then have ways to force the enemy back into it, or have your friends grapple the enemy or shove them back into that environment. Very, very strong, and a incredibly good way to extend the power and value of your spells. Last, we have the great list of scrolls. Sorry, I mean utility spells. These are spells that might not be a combat winner, but you're really happy to have them when you need them. First off, we have Alarm. This is a good wand spell because you set up, well, an alarm. So when you rest at night, if you are in a game where the party gets ambushed at night, or you just lock doors and sleep inside, the good paranoid spellcaster keeps a wand of alarm on them to always make sure if someone gets in, they get woken up by their alarm spell. That's just nice to have. Air Bubble is... it's a tough one. It's a good scroll because it's specific, but it's a reaction, so you need to be holding it in your hand when someone gets swallowed whole or dragged underwater for it to trigger. So you have to know that it might happen and pull it out ahead of time. But when it works, it's really, really good. It's really, really good. What Air Bubble does is it puts, well, a bubble of air over someone's head when they would get swallowed whole or dragged underwater or into dirt somewhere they cannot breathe. And this will give them so much more time and safety to escape alive. Super, super nice. Gentle Landing, also known as Feather Fall for those classic players. This is going to prevent fall damage. Once again, you keep a scroll of this in your pocket. Sometimes you need to jump off the castle wall or out of the tower window to safety, and this will stop you from going splat on the ground. Keep one on you. They're cheap. It's like 4 gold for a rank 1 scroll. Buy a lot. Helpful Steps. Buy a lot of this one. It's so good. This thing it's used way more than you would think when you actually have it. Helpful Steps makes a 40-foot staircase. That's it. Now, think about how useful a 40-foot spiral staircase straight up is. 40 feet is really high. You can just get onto a 4th-story building with this, right? Because it's 40 foot tall. That means your feet are touching the 40 feet. So you yourself, how tall is your character? If they're medium, we assume 5 feet. Practically speaking, your character might be like 6 feet tall. You know, you have like a 2-3 foot arm span. You can totally get onto a 50-foot building with helpful steps. Or a 45-foot building? Absolutely. That's insane. The amount of problems you can solve by just climbing an insanely high amount, incredible. And if you ever need, you can upcast this spell to increase the distance another 40 feet. I don't know why you would want to spend like a rank 5 spell for a 200-foot staircase, but the option exists. When you need that, you come back and tell me. I want to hear why you needed a 120 or 200-foot staircase. And last, if you need only 30 feet, consider Jump. This is a great scroll to keep in your hand mid-combat. It's a single action to jump 30 feet in any direction. And this is great. You can use it to jump past difficult terrain, jump up a wall, jump over a gap or a cliff. Super, super nice. Now, we kind of just covered items. It's just every utility spell plus Anthaul and Tailwind. Pick up all those. They're cheap and they're good. Now, if you're a blaster, what do you want, right? What do you take at low levels as a druid or sorcerer who wants big number? Well, we take Heal and we take Thunderstrike. Simple as these are really the 2 spells that matter. Healing for big heals, Thunderstrike for big damage, and if there's weak enemies or a lot of enemies, you use cantrips. Use Electric Arc and Frostbite at this tier. Simple as. I know you want to use like Breathe Fire to do some AoE. It exists. It's an option, but it's just not good enough to be that much better than casting Electric Arc for me to recommend it. And last, Runic Weapon. Yeah, I know it's a buff. You don't want that on a blaster build, but it's really just that good. This is a win button for encounters levels like 1 through 3. Get rid of it at high levels, okay? Now for our strategists in the crowd, those who want to control the battlefield and move the chess pieces, Primal still works pretty well. It might not be as well suited to this as the Occult and Arcane list, but you can do pretty darn good as a tactical mastermind in the Primal list. We're still taking Heal because, come on, it's big healing. That's just so good. And we're taking Gust of Wind. Knocking enemies prone and locking down movement is insane. We're going to want Runic Weapon because at low levels, like we said, it's just too good to pass up. If you don't want to take it, that's fine. Just take Grease. Grease is also great. It's another way to knock enemies prone. And most importantly, between Grease and Gust of Wind, you can target Fortitude and Reflex saves to knock your enemies down and control the environment. Make areas that are advantageous to the enemy now dangerous or inaccessible. So, once you hit high levels, once you're level 5, rank 1 spells have kind of fallen off. They fall off fast. Good news is you have so many good utility spells to pack in here. You have so many options to fill this with. Gust of Wind is a great one because it never falls off. Knocking enemies prone, locking off hallways, that's always great to have in the pocket. And if you want good reactions, Interposing Earth and Lose the Path are great picks. Either cost the enemy actions when they move, or it's effectively reactive shield. Interposing Earth gives you a defense against reflex saves and armor class. That's nice to have. Druids are more durable, but if you're a sorcerer, having Interposing Earth might save your life. And last, you can always take Heal. I know you're thinking generic. This Heal barely does anything. It stabilizes people. We're not using this as a heal bomb. Rank 1 heal, we keep one in the pocket, so if someone's bleeding out, you can just go, oh, one action, touch them, they get, 4 hit points back. That's enough for them to crawl away to safety. Not enough to join the fight, but enough to run. And really, that's it for rank 1. I'm trying to trim these videos down and go fast. I've been getting way too wordy recently. So, hey. Rank 2 and 3 will be next up. Let's keep going. And there's so many spells to cover. We're trying to keep things practical. I hope you like this. Let me know if there's any spells I missed or any spells that you love using yourself. Make sure to subscribe to me if you haven't at Lord Generic RPG so that you'll catch the next spells and anything else. Let me know if there's any things in particular you want to see. See you at rank 2.